You waited years for this. The trip. The one you and your wife used to talk about. The one you kept putting off during your working years. The one your children said you finally deserved. And now here you were. Boarding pass in hand, passport zipped into your coat, and a suitcase packed with more medications than shirts. You were nervous, but excited. Mostly excited. This was supposed to be the reward, the celebration, proof that you still had some adventure left in you. The flight took off just after sunrise. Window seat, coffee, the gentle roar of the engine like a lullaby. You smiled at the clouds. I still got it, you whispered to yourself. But somewhere between takeoff and landing, your body reminded you otherwise. Not loudly, just a whisper. A little tighter in the chest. A little slower to stand when the seatbelt light turned off. A little more disoriented than you wanted to admit. You told yourself it was jet lag, or age, or nothing. But deep down, you knew it was something. The airport was louder than you remembered. Signs everywhere, fast voices, bags slamming, security lines curving like snakes. You felt yourself fading before you even made it to the taxi line. Still, you pressed on. I'm not weak, I'm just tired. But that night, in the hotel room, your hands shook a little when you tried to open your pill organizer. The room spun more than it should have when you got out of bed to use the bathroom. And when you sat down, you realized something that no one talks about. Travel after 70 doesn't feel like it used to. Danger number 1. Overestimating your physical readiness. You walk fine at home, climb stairs, carry groceries. You're careful, but capable. But travel asks something different of your body. Long hours of sitting, unfamiliar. Walking routes. Elevation changes. Delayed meals. Interrupted medications. New beds, hard pillows, and no sense of time. It's not just tiring, it's destabilizing. And if your balance, breathing, or heart rhythm is even slightly off before the trip, this kind of disruption can make the smallest issue spiral fast. You didn't collapse. You didn't faint. You didn't need help. But you knew. Your body was whispering, trying to tell you something. And you finally listened. That night, you skipped the city tour. You laid on the bed, staring at the ceiling fan spin in slow circles. You didn't feel like a failure. You felt aware. Because for the first time in years, you realized this truth. Just because you can go, doesn't mean you should go the same way you always did. Aging doesn't mean you stop living. It means you live smarter, softer, wiser. It means listening to your body before it raises its voice. In the next part, you'll uncover danger number 2, a nighttime shift in your brain and heart rhythm that could turn your dream trip into a dangerous one, without a single warning. You woke up gasping. Not loud, not dramatic, just short of breath. The hotel room was dark, the air conditioner humming low. You sat up slowly, heart beating harder than it should have been. Not fast, just heavy. You reached for your water, checked the time. 3:17 a.m. Your hands were slightly damp, your mouth dry. And for a moment you weren't sure what had woken you. No noise, no nightmare, just something inside, out of rhythm. You got up, walked to the bathroom, splashed water on your face, looked in the mirror. Your reflection stared back, eyes fogged with sleep, but wide with awareness. You whispered to yourself, "What is happening to me?" Danger number 2, circadian disruption and cardiac drift. No one warned you that crossing time zones after 70 isn't just about jet lag. It's about internal confusion. Your brain still thinks it's midnight. Your heart is pacing itself for rest. But outside, it's 3 a.m., and your body doesn't know how to recalibrate as fast as it used to. When your circadian rhythm misfires, blood pressure surges at the wrong time. Hormones are released too early or too late. Sleep cycles collapse. The heart can skip, stall, or surge quietly. In younger bodies, these shifts are uncomfortable. In older bodies, they're dangerous, especially when combined with medications, dehydration, or fatigue. You sat on the edge of the bed, breathing slowly, counting silently. You remembered a study your doctor once mentioned, how heart attacks spike in people over 70 within 48 hours of crossing more than 2 time zones. You didn't believe it then. But now, with your own pulse ticking like an unfamiliar clock, you understood. You didn't call for help, didn't panic. You did something smarter. You sat still, drank water, opened the window, and waited. Because now, you knew what this was. Not panic, not disease, a warning. You made a note to check your meds in the morning. Maybe that sleep tablet was too soon. Maybe the dinner too salty. Maybe you needed a little more movement before lying still in a foreign bed. But mostly, you made a promise to yourself. No more ignoring the signals. Because your body doesn't care if the hotel is paid for. It doesn't care how beautiful the cathedral is, or how long you've waited to see this city. It only cares that you come home safe. You can still travel. You should. But not recklessly. Not without understanding that your internal clock is more fragile now than it's ever been. And if you push it too hard, you may not get the chance to reset it. In the next part, you'll discover danger number 3, an emotional trap that most older travelers never see coming, until it leaves them feeling more alone than they've ever felt in their life. It was your 3rd day in the city. Tour buses zipped by. The air smelled like roasted nuts and hot pavement. Cameras flashed. Voices swirled in different languages. It was beautiful. Exactly what you'd pictured. But something felt off. You sat at an outdoor cafe. Small table, warm tea, sun on your back. And for the first time since arriving, you looked around and realized you were alone. Not just unaccompanied. Alone. The waiter smiled, asked something you didn't understand. You nodded politely. He walked away. No conversation. No shared memory. No one to turn to and say, "Remember that? Did you see that? Wasn't that incredible?" Just silence. And a strange, hollow echo inside your chest. Danger number 3. Emotional isolation in unfamiliar places. Nobody talks about this. They talk about packing light, staying hydrated, booking refundable flights. But no one warns you that the most painful part of traveling after 70 isn't the walking, or the jet lag, or the hotel beds. It's the distance between your excitement and the world's indifference. At home, your routine gives you purpose. Your neighbor waves. The lady at the pharmacy knows your name. You have places to be, even if they're simple. But when you travel, everything familiar disappears. And unless you're traveling with someone who truly knows you, you feel like a ghost watching other people's lives unfold. You finished your tea, walked through cobblestone alleys with your guidebook in hand, took photos, stood in long lines, smiled for strangers, and the whole time you kept wondering, why does something so beautiful feel so distant? That night you called your daughter, just to hear a voice that made you feel anchored. She answered on the 3rd ring. "Hey Dad, everything okay?" You said yes. You lied. Because you didn't want to sound ungrateful. But as you hung up, you finally admitted it to yourself. You were lonely, not homesick, not sad, just disconnected. Because travel isn't just movement. It's emotional exposure. And when you don't have someone beside you who remembers who you were, the world can feel like a place you're visiting for the last time. No one tells you that joy needs companionship. That wonder feels deeper when shared. That sometimes the most beautiful view isn't enough if no one's standing beside you to see it. You still had 4 days left on the trip, but in that moment, you made a decision. Not to go home early, not to give up, but to do something different. I will stop chasing adventure like I used to, and I'll start traveling with more intention, with more care, with people who make me feel like I belong. Because the danger isn't traveling alone. The danger is not knowing how much of yourself you're losing in the silence. In the next part, you'll discover danger number 4, a physical and mental trap that turns good travel into health decline when your mind keeps pushing, but your body stops agreeing. You told yourself you'd rest that morning. Just one slow day. No museums, no guided tours, just the bench in the park and a good cup of coffee. But when the concierge mentioned a small hilltop chapel with the best view in the city, you smiled politely and said yes. You weren't going to be the old man who gave up early. Not today. The steps were steeper than you expected. The air thinner, your legs heavier. You paused halfway, pretending to take in the view, when really, you couldn't catch your breath. You leaned on a railing, checked your watch, and told yourself, just a few more steps. You made it, barely. Took a photo, wiped the sweat from your brow, smiled at a passing couple. But something inside you felt off. Not pain, exactly. Not even fatigue. Just a deep, quiet drain. Like your body had given a little more than it could afford. And now, it was collecting the bill. Danger number 4. Ignoring physical boundaries. Out of pride or pressure. You've done hard things before. You've pushed through worse. You've always believed that resting too much was how people started to fade. But what they don't tell you is, after 70, the signs of overexertion don't scream. They whisper. Dizziness that lingers. Nausea that comes and goes. Fatigue that doesn't improve with sleep. A mood that shifts from curious to irritable for no reason. You're not out of shape. You're out of rhythm, and pushing past that point doesn't make you strong. It makes you vulnerable. You sat on a bench outside the chapel, pulled a bottle of water from your bag. Your hands shook a little as you unscrewed the cap. And you thought to yourself, why am I pushing this hard? For a picture? For proof? And then it hit you. You weren't doing it for the view. You were doing it to prove you still could. To your children. To yourself. To time. But that's the trap. Because if you spend your energy proving you're still young, you leave none for actually enjoying where you are now. The strongest thing you can do as you age is listen. Not to the world, not to pride, but to your own breath, your own body. The gentle voice saying, you've done enough today. Sit down. Look around. Let it be enough. You took the tram back down that afternoon. No shame, no apology, just wisdom. You sat by the window, watched the rooftops go by, and in that slow descent, you realized something beautiful. You were still traveling, still living, still choosing. But now, you were choosing with care. And that made all the difference. In the final part, you'll uncover danger number 5, the emotional aftermath of coming home, and the secret to making your next trip feel more alive and less alone.